Whenever you have Flexera data and Flexera is your source of truth, you want that source of truth to go everywhere. You want it to span across all the solutions that you have today. If you're going to open a ticket and it's going to reference a machine or a piece of software, you probably want that to be coming from Flexera. You want that to be a consistent naming convention. You want that to be a consistent marker. So for those customers and partners who have in-house applications that they may be leveraging as an MSP or maybe as just a data integrator inside of the customer's environment, they're going to be able to feed our data back into their solutions easier than they ever have before. Secondly, they can do more targeted data extract. So if there's specific information that they need, they won't have to just go into a BI tool, make a CSV export, and then send that out to the requesting team every single time. They're going to be able to make a structured query that consistently delivers the information that was asked for by that internal customer and achieve that use case without having to dip into a BI solution every single time. And then finally, automation. For customers who are looking to integrate our data more with existing Flexera solutions or their existing CMDB solutions, their ticketing systems, their outside third-party inventory systems that they can send data back into, that's what they're going to be able to achieve through automation. There's so many different ways that we can actually plug and play with the policy engine as it sits today. And with GraphQL, cutting down on the amount of information that has to go into each request, it's going to allow us to scale and actually achieve outcomes with automation, leveraging that policy engine. And we haven't actually been able to do that before today with GraphQL. So let's take a sample query that we would build based off of a customer request. A customer request is going to be fairly generic at first, very high level. I need device inventory data for my domain, my specific environment. Great. Let's achieve that outcome for that customer. I'm going to go into a client. This is Altair. It is a free client that you can leverage for GraphQL queries. This is what we recommend in our documentation. So let's achieve this customer's use case. I need device inventory data for my domain. Great. So we're going to start with something basic. We're going to say query, and we're going to say query the devices because that's where we want to start. And we're going to say, I need all the device names and I need the domains, just to make this as simple as possible. And what you'll notice as I'm typing this, the Altair client is actually predicting what I'm asking. So as I'm typing out domain, go back here, it's giving me the option of domain, or because I've only done DO, last logged on user. This is because it has that schema that Zach was talking about before. It knows the structure of the GraphQL API that we're providing it access to. And if you need to get in and actually see more about that, if you want to learn more about that, then you would go into your root query. So here, I'll close this out. If you're in any client, it will have access to the schema for the GraphQL API. So if you ever get lost and you ever don't know where to start with our GraphQL or any GraphQL API, you can always start at the query level. And the root query is going to say, here's where you can begin. Now, we began with devices because that's what the customer asked for. They wanted the device inventory for their specific domain. That's great. If I didn't know where domain was, but I knew I needed to start with devices, I can always just click into device. And you can see here, I have all the different data objects or the data points that I could pull for different devices within Technology Intelligence Platform or the rest of the GraphQL API. So this is all the data that I can leverage. This is all the information that I can actually get on devices. And there's even more tables underneath that. In this case, because it already knows all of this information, I can simply start to type and it will connect all this for me. So I'm saying domain is what I need. It predicts domain. Now I have a query. A query is just saying, give me this information, request this information. I'm requesting information about devices, and I want the name of a device, and I want the domain of that device. And I want everything in my environment. I'm going to send that request, and this is going to call our GraphQL API, and it's going to actually pull back the information that I asked for. So in this case, I have all devices, the name of the device, and the domain of the device. Now, you can see I've got some nulls in there. So we need to make this specific to that user. They said, I need my domain, my specific domain. I'm assuming that they are just an average demo user, so they're an Acme domain owner. So I will say, give me all the devices where the domain, and we'll say contains the word Acme. So here, I'm not having to spell out their exact domain. I'm not having to spell out every device that exists inside of their domain. And I don't even need to fully understand if it's Acme or acme.com or anything under the sun like that. I just need to know it's Acme. So now it's an easy way for me to actually say, I need devices where this specific domain contains this specific name. That's it. And I'll go ahead and send that through. And what it's going to do is it will tap into the Lakehouse, it will tap into Technology Intelligence Platform, and it will give me back just the information I requested. These are all the devices that exist for domains that have the name Acme in it. Great, we've achieved use case number one. This is what they needed. With all customers, if you give them something, they're going to ask for more. So this is the first request. They're going to come back and say, that's great, thank you. But I need it to include all the software on that device. Okay, so let's achieve that use case. So now I need the software. So I'll go down and I'll select software. And in software, I just need let's say the manufacturer name so that I understand who it is. And let's say we need the product name. And maybe we just need the version just to keep things as simple as possible. So we've got the version name. So now I have devices where the domain contains Acme. I need that name of the device. I need the software running on that device. And the software information I want is just the manufacturer name, the product name, and the version name. Real simple. We'll send that through. It's going to tap back into the Lakehouse, look for that information. And then here we go. Now we have within the Acme domain, all the software that's running on each device. And we have the software manufacturer name, we have the product name, and we have the version name. Real easy. They're going to go back and say, great, that's awesome. Thank you so much. But I need all the obsolete dates for the devices and the software as well. Because now I know you have this information. I know that you have lifecycle information. Let's go get some more of that lifecycle information. That helps my use case. Okay, so obsolete dates for devices and software. Great. So we'll go back up to devices and I will say, let's do lifecycle. So I need lifecycle information, but what lifecycle information do I need? I need the obsolete date. So I'll type in, I've got OB, obsolete, obsolete date, obsolete exemption. I just need the date. Easy enough. Now let's do it on the software side. We have the manufacturer name, product name, version name, but now we need that lifecycle. So we'll type in lifecycle again. Lifecycle. The information we need in lifecycle is the obsolete date. Easy enough. We have plenty of options for them to choose from, but they just asked for obsolete date. So we'll give that to them. And then we'll send it through. So this is going to go through. It's going to look at all the devices that are sitting out there, as well as all of the software that's running on those devices. And we'll go back up and look at that. Now we have the obsolete date for that machine. We have all of the software information and its obsolete dates for each of those pieces of software, so that now we have all the data that the customers asked us for. Great, easy enough. Well, it's never that easy because they don't like it in ascending order, which is how it naturally comes. They want everything in descending order. Great, that's fine. What we can do is we'll say, all right, fine, we need all the devices where the domain contains the word Acme, so that we're in their domain, what they requested. But we also need, so I'm going to put a comma, to order the response information. So we'll say order by. All I had to do was type in O and it said order by. Order by, and we'll do the normal device name. Let's do name first. So order everything by the name, and the order that we want you to come back with, you can choose ascending or descending. It doesn't matter, whichever one's your preference. We were asked for descending, so we're going to add in DESC. So now we have everything that they've asked for. We have the devices where the domain contains the word Acme, and we're going to order everything that we receive in descending order based off of the device name. And we're going to get back the lifecycle data for that particular machine, and specifically the obsolete date. Then we're going to get software information and the lifecycle information for that piece of software, specifically the obsolete date. That's what they asked for. So we're going to send that through. And this is going to call out yet again. It's going to go to the lakehouse. It's going to make that query for us. It's going to see all these tables, bridge them together, receive all that data, and then put it into descending order so that whenever I go back up to the top here, now I'm looking at something that starts with a Z instead of an A. I'm getting information that I asked for in the way that I requested it, in the order that I asked for it to send it back to me in. Great. So they're going to say, fantastic, I love it. But actually, I only need it for servers because customers are relentless. They're always going to ask another question. They're always going to want more. That's fine. GraphQL is going to make that easy for us. So we're going to be able to go back in and say, okay, well, we need taxonomy information. So we'll say where the taxonomy, and remember, server is a subcategory for Technopedia, is a subcategory. So we want the subcategory for all this data, but we need it specifically for server. So we'll do something simple here, and we will say where, and we'll say where the subcategory, and we'll say contains, because I don't know if it's servers with a capital S or lowercase or with an S, as in servers, or just server. So I'm just going to say where it contains the word server. And then I will close all this off and say that this is something that is actually required. Because I'm saying I just want things that contain the word server, and it's required that everything that I receive has the word server as its subcategory in the response. And here we go. So now we have that first name. It again starts with Z because we said ordered by descending name. And then we said only servers. And here I said server. I didn't know if it was with a capital S or with a lowercase or if it ended in an S for servers. So I just said contains, and now it says servers. That's the appropriate taxonomy term from Technopedia. Fantastic. And now we have just software, just for servers, for the domain, for the Acme division of the company, in descending order, with all the lifecycle information, specifically obsolete dates for the software and the hardware that I'm looking at. We just achieved that use case, and I fully explained all those different attributes and parts in less than 10 minutes. Now, they're going to say thank you, of course, but then they're going to say something else, like, I prefer this in a CSV. And this is the final ask, I promise. But customers like to work with things in CSVs, and that's totally fine. And if you have a customer who's fulfilling a business case, or they're just building this out as a use case and they want to validate before they send it off to an engineering team, they can do all of that. They're receiving this information in JSON, which they can actually just fully download, or they can just Control-Alt copy, save that as a JSON file, and then import that into Excel, and Excel will convert that for you using Power Query. That's an easy step. But if they do need all this to come back in a text format, it's available for them. It's accessible. What they can do is add a new header that says accept text / CSV, save, and now whenever they send that on through, it's going to do all the requests that we asked it before, but now instead of it coming back in JSON, it's coming back in that formatted CSV structure. So now we can take this and put that into a CSV for that customer, or they can receive it in the format that they asked for. This is the power, the flexibility, the ease of use of these types of APIs, and that's why it's very valuable for our customers. And this is a huge step forward in being more of a data company for our customers.